Tuya, Ushya, Dinakutia, Shona Justini, Utuwan Justini. My English name is Anita McPhee. I'm the president of the Tahltan Central Council. Just to give you a bit of an idea where we're from the northwestern BC, near the Yukon. The Stickeen River comes from the Pacific, runs into the Pacific Ocean where we get our salmon. And I want to say Madu to the Coast Salish people for allowing us to be here on their territory and to speak about some important issues that are affecting us as First Nations. Madu. We're at a critical time in our lives as human beings, not just as First Nations, but as people. We're at a critical time where we're fighting to protect our water and our food sources. And this is something that we're doing together, and it's affecting every single one of us. But as First Nations, because our ancestors' blood runs through this land, we're connected directly to it, and we will fight to protect this land by any means necessary. And I say this because I've heard it right across this land, from the north to the south, from the east to the west. We will stand and fight because our kids' lives are at stake. Your kids' lives are at stake when their line goes across Canada, and then with all the super tankers and all the oil spills that are risky to pollute this water. All of our lives are at stake. And one of the reasons Tahltan Nation has decided last year to support Save the Fraser Declaration and to protect these rivers and these waters is because we know that our salmon comes from the Pacific Ocean. And if there's oil spills, and like I heard today, and there will be in the Pacific Ocean, that affects us. I know that the fish that I eat in the Stickeen River, it doesn't get there. It comes from the Pacific Ocean. We're all connected. We are all connected as people. And anything that somebody does has a direct effect on somebody else. That's how life is. So although this line does not go through Tahltan territory, we know it will impact us as a people. So we decided as a nation to support the people who are the Yinke, Dene, and all the other First Nations who are fighting to protect their lands and their watersheds. So we cannot afford to have this happen to us. We cannot afford to have this happen to us and our children. I have a 6-year-old daughter. I grew up eating salmon. I grew up eating moose. My kid loves to eat fish. She eats canned salmon every other day. And if I can't give that to her, you know how much trouble I'll be in? So I just wanted to bring it back to reality, how it affects us. So when First Nations food is being affected, it directly impacts us in every way possible. But it affects you too, because I know a lot of people like to go out and eat sushi and salmon roll and go out and eat all of these crab and everything, and they pay lots of money for it. I think it's worth protecting on your part too. But I want to come here to give you a message of hope, because I was really hurt I heard something a couple of times when people said, you know they made up their mind already. When Christy Clark signed with the Premier of Alberta, and I said, really? You're willing to accept that just because 2 women signed a piece of paper? I don't think so. I want to give you a message of hope and leave you with that today. As Tahltan people, we're fighting to protect our watershed, the sacred headwaters, the Tahltan. We've been in this fight since 2005 against Shell, the second biggest corporation in the world. We were fighting to stop them to have coal bed methane extraction in the headwaters. Our elders got arrested, Our people fought. We made alliances with NGOs, our neighbors, First Nations, all across BC, Canada. Last year in December, we celebrated. They left. Shell left. And then again, we're still fighting as Tahltan people. Last summer, 7 weeks, the land protectors, our people, spent in the mountains to protect our headwaters again from coal, from Fortune Minerals. We're fighting to protect our watersheds, and as First Nations, we have to unite and stay together. We need to make allies with everybody who's willing to fight with us. And I have to say again, we had a minor victory, but it was a big victory, because every victory is a big victory. Fortune Minerals left after 7 weeks of our people being in the mountains. So my message today is we're going to stand together. And the more of us who stand together, the stronger and bigger this fist gets.